Hey everybody, Moonfa here, and welcome to my Kayle guide. On the screen is everything that this guide will cover. Click the text to be taken to specific parts of the video, or stick around to watch from the beginning. Kayle is a very flexible champion, able to be played in any role. However, I prefer playing her mid or top, so this guide will be focusing more on those two roles. For the first part of this guide, we are going to look into pre-game setups for Kayle, mainly masteries and runes, so let's look at masteries first. When playing Kayle, your main focus is being a huge damage threat to the enemy team, so obviously scaling into the offense tree is your best choice. When scaling into the offense tree, make sure you take magic penetration, ability power, and the increased overall damage masteries. With my 9 points remaining, I put them into the defense tree to boost my defensive stats a small amount. Next, let's take a look at the runes. When it comes to runes, you have a lot of choices. However, this is my most used rune page on Kayle. Ability power quints, magic penetration marks, armor seals, and magic resist glyphs. Runes such as hybrid penetration and attack speed will also work. Now let's take a look at Kayle's abilities and their uses in game. First is Kayle's passive, called Holy Fervor. Kayle's auto attacks against enemy champions reduce their armor and magic resistance by 3% for 5 seconds. This debuff stacks up to 5 times. This passive allows Kayle to ignore a large portion of enemy magic resistant armor, which allows you to deal huge damage to even the tankiest enemy. Kayle's first ability, Reckoning, is her main nuke. Kayle blasts a target enemy, dealing magic damage, slowing its movement speed for 3 seconds, and applying 1 stack of Holy Fervor. Kayle's second ability is called Divine Blessing. Kayle blesses a target allied champion, healing them and increasing their movement speed for 3 seconds. This can be cast on allies or yourself. Kayle's third ability is called Righteous Fury, and it is her largest sustained damage output. Kayle ignites her sword and becomes ranged for 10 seconds, granting her bonus magic damage on her attacks and increasing her attack range by 400. Additionally, attacks on non-tower units damage other enemies within 150 range of the target. Kayle's last ability, her ultimate, is called Intervention. This ability is basically what makes Kayle the great champion she is. Learning to properly time this ultimate is core to being a great Kayle player. Kayle bathes the target ally champion or herself in holy light, rendering the champion immune to all damage for 2, 2.5, or 3 seconds, depending on the level. Lastly, let's take a look at items before we get into gameplay. There are a lot of choices when it comes to itemizing Kayle, so feel free to use my suggestions, but I would suggest playing around with different builds and finding what works best for you. For starting items, I suggest taking a Crystalline Flask, Health Potion, and a Ward, giving you great sustain in lane as well as a bit of early game vision. After that, work for your core items, starting out with Gnasher's Tooth, and then after that, a Rabadon's. If you complete your Gnashers and Rabadons, your next few items are up to you. Here are my 2 suggestions. Lichbane if you are looking to continue boosting your damage, Zhonya's if you need the defensive active and armor. I would suggest building both of those items by the end of the match, so choose which one you want first depending on what you need at the moment. For your last item, I would suggest a Void Staff or a Guardian Angel. Void Staff will boost your damage a lot, and Guardian Angel will keep you alive longer. As I completely forgot to mention this earlier, take Sorcerer's Shoes for your boots. I'm sorry there's no picture of it, but that is why there was not 6 items. Remember that this is just my suggested build. There are a lot of different builds you can use, and you can check out my written guide on lolking if you want more details on items. There will be a link in the description. Now let's hop into the gameplay. Most of these matches take place in the top lane on Kayle. So first, let me just address the few differences between mid and top lane when playing Kayle. The 2 main differences between mid and top is that the top lane is much longer than the mid lane. This gives you more room to chase your opponent or more time to run. This can work in your favor or against you if you are being ganked. It is much harder to roam in the top lane and help other teammates, so you tend to be able to farm much more in this lane. So what I would say the main difference is that in the middle you should be able to roam more, and in top you can farm heavily for late game. When playing Kayle, especially top lane, you don't have great early power. Kayle is an amazing late game champion, so her early game can sometimes be difficult. This isn't always true, however. But when playing in lane, if you're not able to be aggressive on your opponent, farm minions. If your opponent goes aggressive on you, fight them by kiting backwards. Use your move speed heal and your slow to keep distance from them, and your righteous fury to damage them. Keep distance unless they are low enough for you to become aggressive. When in lane, always make sure to keep vision in popular gank areas. River and Tribush are your two main warding spots for top lane, and for middle lane it'll be somewhere in the side bushes or on the ramps. Always keep pressure on your lane. If Kayle gets ahead, she can quickly snowball a lane. Her minion wave clear is great, and she can split push very effectively. If your team is holding their own, continuing to farm and pressure lane is fine. Kayle becomes a huge late game threat, so if she can farm throughout the early game, you will become very strong late game. Don't ever overcommit to farming though. If your team is ahead, grouping and sieging towers or taking objectives is always more important, so choose when to group or when to split wisely. It's something you will pick up over time. For the last part of this video, basically I'm just going to discuss some different things about Kayle and just some random stuff I know, whatever pops into my mind for the most part. So this isn't going to be scripted or whatnot, so I'm sorry if I mumble on about random things and whatnot, but I'll try to do my best to stay on topic. So right here, going into a team fight, ulting Vi, getting out. They actually picked up the dragon, but we should be able to pick up some kills here, so that's okay. So I guess the first thing we can talk about is Kayle's ultimate, because I believe this is a good clip for it. So let's watch the clip first. You can see right here, Vlad's ultimate is about to go off. I'm going to use my ultimate, then it's going to block his ultimate damage, his Q, and his E. So that was blocking like half of my health worth of damage. So using your ultimate is core. Like it's so important, and you have to use it at good times. Right here, I'm going to use it again. When I get locked up, Vlad's going to miss all of his damage on me for the most part. As is Jinx, she's going to go off, and I'm going to pick up a nice easy kill there on Jinx and get away here from Vlad. My team's going to be able to pressure the mid lane. So split pushing on Kayle is very effective. You can do it very easily because once you get a little bit of head, you can out-trade anyone. You can push waves extremely fast, and you can push towers even pretty fast for an AP champion. At least AP if you build the way I do. So yeah, using ultimate is core. You can either use it on yourself or you can use it on your AD carry, and I believe that's what makes Kayle such a strong champion. Just being able to use ultimate to keep your AD carry alive. You can keep your AD carry alive for 3 seconds at level 16, or you can keep yourself alive. And being able to keep a teammate alive that deals that much damage, and being able to use your ultimate to avoid ultimates of the enemy team and whatnot is just so amazing. It is so strong, and I believe it is the strongest part of Kayle. I mean, it is the strongest part, not just I believe. But picking up another kill here on Zyra, you see once you get like a little bit ahead, just the damage that I deal is just ridiculous. The damage I deal from range, and then just the utility that I have with my ultimate is just, it makes Kayle so strong. It makes her a ridiculous champion, and people don't play her very often. And I don't know why, because she is so strong, and she, to be honest, is not that high skill cap of a character. She's relatively easy compared to a lot of different top and mid champions, and just her ability to go in any lane, including top, mid, AP carry, bot lane like an AD carry, even AD carry if you really want, and including support. And she can even jungle, like, so she can literally play any role. There's not many champions that can play every role, and she can play every role, and she can do it well. But her, that's not to say every role is as strong as her mid or top, but it's viable, and it can be done if you're good at Kayle. So I guess that's enough discussion about her ultimate. I guess the next thing to talk about would be her team fighting, because earlier I already talked about her laning quite a bit and everything. So team fighting is, and this is not a good clip for team fighting, but that's okay. Actually, there's not many clips coming up for team fighting, but that's okay. Just you can watch the footage. It's not too related to team fighting, but I'll talk about it anyway. Team fighting is basically, your goal is to be an AP carry. Even if you're top lane or mid lane, you can be an AP carry. When you play top lane, you're going to be a little bit more utility for your team probably. Okay, so step 1 for team fighting. Your goal is to deal as much damage as possible in most situations. However, if your AD carry is very fed, and keeping your AD carry alive is going to help you deal more overall damage, you can peel for your AD carry very well. So if you want to deal damage, I mean, in both situations you will be dealing damage. If you peel for your AP carry, your AD carry. I didn't mean to say AD carry, if I did say that earlier. AD carry. If you're peeling for your AD carry, use your ultimate, your speed boost on them, and use your Q, which is, completely just forgot the name of it for some reason. Use your Q to slow them and then deal a lot of damage. You can completely melt, like, because most of the time bruisers are going to go on your AD carry, so, or AD casters like a Zed or something. So use your ultimate, your W and your Q to save your teammates from assassins or save yourself from assassins. Just remember, you can't use your ultimate when you're stunned or feared or silenced or anything like that. Like a Trinity ult, you can't do that. So make sure to use your ultimate before those kind of abilities go down on you. So if you see, example, if you see Ahri ulting into the fight, charming you, with a charm coming at you, you should probably ult yourself before that charm hits you, because their team is most likely going to follow up with damage. And if you can land a charm, another example, if a Malzahar is ulting you, if you use your ultimate right before he ults you, you can win a Malzahar matchup. And Malzahar is actually a relatively good matchup against Kayle if it's played correctly. But if you play Kayle even better, even more correctly, and you use your ultimate at good times, you can beat that matchup easily. And once you get ahead, you don't stop being ahead. You can snowball so hard. And just pressuring lanes like this in the top lane, especially just split pushing like this, a gank even coming in, not actually going to pick up the kill on J4 here because of a stupid play. He flashed one way and I flashed the other. I was hoping I'd be able to get the last auto attack off, like right here. I was hoping I'd flash and get the last auto attack, but he flashed the other way. But I'm not going to die. Going to be able to get an assist on Vi because TF and Lee Sin are going to roll in. But yeah, that's basically team fighting. Just either keeping yourself alive, keeping one teammate alive is pretty much core, and just using your Q and your E, your Righteous Fury, to do stuff like that. You can see Zilean just do things like that, being able to drop their squishies, even their tanks you can drop extremely easy, being able to drop anyone on their team extremely fast. So just dealing overall massive amounts of damage is important. And don't be afraid to use your ultimate. I don't know if I mentioned that in the ultimate part. Don't be afraid to use your ultimate. It is a very short cooldown, and right here, this is a decent ultimate, saving Leona at like 1 health. She definitely could have survived here. She is going to die, but she could have survived there. Unfortunately, she did not, because my ultimate was not too great. She probably would have died anyway, but it's okay. I'm going to be able to pick up the kill in her neck here. Unfortunately, didn't get Vayne, but Zed's not going to be able to kill me even though he follows, because I have blue buff and the W. It's a short cooldown, gives me a lot of move speed and health and everything. Anyway, going for a Baron right here. Hopefully we'll be able to pick that up. Yeah, right here. You can see just Kayle's overall damage right here. I'm relatively fed at this point, 7-1. So once I don't even have my death cap yet. Once you finish your Nashers in the death cap, you are a 1v1 or team fighting just monster. You can team fight so well. And just the damage output that you're going to have, it will pretty much completely catch your enemies off guard every time. It is a ridiculous amount of damage. And this is, like, you can see right here, this is with Nashers and Deathcap. That was their Amumu, their tankiest champion. I'm taking half of Vayne's health just with a Q and an E. And so yeah, just able to deal massive amounts of damage. And just, what... It's hard to try to get out what I'm saying, but I guess the best way to explain it is Kayle is such a great champion, especially in solo queue, because she not only brings the damage of an AP caster or more, she brings so much damage. She doesn't only just bring that damage though, she brings massive amounts of utility, which is what makes her so strong. Having a heal with a movement speed as well as a 2.5 or 3 second invulnerability ultimate on such a low cooldown just makes her a ridiculous champion. And right here you can see using the ultimate on Lee Sin. I thought he was going to stick in, I wasn't really expecting the flash, but he goes back in and it's fine. Vayne's going to get the Zilean ulti, but I should be able to pick him up because at this point my damage is massive. I am extremely fed in that clip. And I'm sorry about that fading garbage. It's kind of a mess up on my part, but that's okay. It's not too big of a deal. Right here, using my ultimate on, who did I use it on? Myself, I believe, on a Mumu ulted, and able to stay alive there. So that is it for the discussion and whatnot. If you have any questions, ask me in the comments or on my written guide on LoL King, link in the description. You can leave comments there. Make sure to check out the guide if you want more details on Kayle. There's a lot more detailed descriptions on many things there, and everything's just laid out a lot better there in my opinion. So check that out if you want more detailed descriptions on things. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to throw this video a like or a favorite if you enjoyed it, and make sure to subscribe for more guides and different League of Legends videos. Once again, guys, thanks for watching. This has been Moonfa, and I'm out.